Good evening, everybody. Well, I know it's a late one tonight, but I just finished doing my Bible study not long ago, and so this kind of caused me to come on a little later tonight. But I hope you guys will join me at least for a few minutes tonight. I'm looking for my Mocha crew to jump on here and join me, and you all know the requirements. Once you come on, please make sure you um, put a greeting comment in the comment box. Let me know you're with me. If you are part of the Mocha crew, throw up that hashtag Mocha crew tonight. And I'm hoping you all come on really, really fast. Hey, Toya, once again, good evening. Kendra, to you all. That's good. That's good. You all are throwing up that hashtag. Come on. Those of you that are joining us, uh, post a greeting there in the comments. Lucy, good evening to you. Thank you for showing up tonight. I know it's late, and I have no intentions on keeping you on here very long. Brittany, thanks for throwing up that hashtag. Good evening, Denise and Jackie. I told you we'd be here tonight. Uh, I know it's a little late, so the sooner everybody gets on, the sooner we can get started. Tracy, good evening to you. Thanks for throwing up that hashtag, Mocha Crew. If you're joining us for the very first time and you want to become a part of our Mocha community, hey, thank you. Thank you, ASCA. Thank you for throwing up that hashtag. Just type in the comments, Mocha Crew. Yeah, Lachelle, Mocha Crew in the house. I like that. I like that. Vonda, good evening to you. Good evening. Tisha Hillman, good evening to you. Thanks for throwing up that hashtag. Cassandra, God bless you. Thanks for throwing it up. Deacon Ron, God bless you. And Shelby, thanks for joining us tonight. Y'all throwing up that Mocha Crew. Antone, uh, throwing up that one of these days you're gonna put your name in there and spell it out for me in phonics so I can pronounce your name right. I don't know if I'm chopping it up and I just feel bad if I'm not pronouncing it right. You know, y'all know what we do with the Mocha Crew. Don't forget to share this with somebody else. Pass this link on to somebody else and invite them to join in with us tonight. I want to try to keep the discussion brief, but I know how hot topics can be. Once you get going on a hot topic, it's kind of difficult to turn it loose. But I also am respectful of the lateness of the hour tonight. Many of you that are joining me here tonight on Mocha Moments, I can honestly say you were with us in the Bible study, and I really respect you for jumping back on and sharing with us tonight. Got a call. I got to pause for the calls. Lady Ann just joined us once again, and she threw up the hashtag Mocha Crew. That's what it's all about. That's what we do. We do what we can to share and add value to other people. That's what I'm all about. I tell you all that every night because I don't want you to ever forget that. And I hope that gets down in your spirit to where you will make it your life's mission to do everything you can to add value to other people. Just imagine if everybody took the time and made the effort to do whatever they could to add value to other people. How awesome our world would be. Some of you may have seen just from the title itself, but I want to throw this question out to you tonight. How many of you are just fed up with the hypocrisy of politics and crooked politicians? You know I am. I've just had my fill of politics and crooked politicians, and I almost hate that this year is an election year because it seems like the only thing that we're going to be hearing about until November are the elections. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe that the political process is important. It is vital, and it can be beneficial when it's utilized the right way. You know, but the things that we've been having to endure, and some of the nonsense that's going on right now is just utterly ridiculous. And I've just gotten to the point where I'm just totally fed up with it. Let me be a little bit more specific. I was watching today, and you all know that this hush money trial is going on with Donald Trump. And today, there were several, I guess, Republican senators and congressmen, politicians, however you want to label them, that showed up at the courthouse in support of Donald Trump. Now, I know people are free to do whatever it is they want to do. Um, but this has just risen to the level of ridiculous. You've taken your time, and it's all about politics. It is all about politics. They want to make sure that they get the man that they want in the White House, and they will go to whatever extremes that they deem necessary to get Trump re-elected. But I'm just baffled by the fact that politics, um, and the people in politics, especially the crooked politicians, they have a double standard with everything. They have a double standard with everything. Deacon Ryan, I just saw your emoji and it looked like you put up a clown's face. I agree. Some of these people seem to act like total clowns. Yeah, it's a circus. It is ridiculous. They have taken the time away from doing whatever they can to help better our government to go to court with this presidential candidate who has gotten himself into a personal mess. He created it himself. I don't care how much he might deny it, but it's been confirmed on all kind of levels that he had an affair with the Stormy Daniels woman. That's what's been reported. And from what I've been hearing on the news, that even now his attorneys have not denied the fact that there was a romantic affair between Trump and Stormy Daniels, which, I'm not even speaking to all that, but the fact of the matter is, this man has been brought up on charges, not just with this situation, but with several other issues, several other criminal charges that he's facing and that he's going to have to answer to through court. But yet and still, these politicians, and they have to be crooked politicians or politicians that truly lack integrity, they want to look the other way when it comes to these moral issues, because they're more bent on getting the person in who would protect more so their money, and they're not really concerned about all of the immoral issues that he's dealing with, and even the alleged criminal acts that he has committed. I don't get it. Now, here's the reality, and you all can chime in and let me know your thoughts for sure. But I can't help but to think or believe that if Barack Obama was in the very same position that Trump is in now, if he was in the very same position and he was a candidate for presidency, or any other Black person for that matter, if they were a candidate for the presidency and these kind of allegations were brought up on them, man, people would abandon that ship with a quickness. They would jump off of that ship as though the ship was on fire and sinking fast. Lachelle, I agree with you wholeheartedly. This is corruption on a whole different level. Yes, Lachelle, I agree also that if it was Barack Obama, he would already be in jail. Now, please, y'all, please understand, I'm not saying this because I endorse Barack Obama. There were several things that I didn't agree with concerning what some of the things he did during his time in office. But I'm just trying to contrast the difference with how a black man in politics is treated as opposed to a white man in politics, how they are treated. And it is utterly ridiculous. If something is against the law for anybody, then it ought to be against the law for everybody. This whole thing about executive immunity and all of that, man, that's crazy. That's just another way of him saying, and those who support him saying, that he ought to be able to do whatever he wants to do without having to suffer any kind of repercussions. Well, again, if whoever breaks the law, when the law is broken, they ought to be held accountable for it. And at the least, he should no longer be qualified to even run as a candidate for presidency unless and until he's acquitted of all charges. I mean, since when has it been okay for a person who's under indictment, federal indictment? Since when has it become okay for them to be an accepted front-running candidate for the presidency? You know, and I'll be the first to tell you that I really don't care much for his politics nor his public disposition. But that's not the reason why I'm venting with regards to this matter tonight. I just don't like hypocrisy on any level. I just don't like it. You know, you never know what you're going to get. One day this is right, but the next day this is wrong. It's right for this person, but it's wrong for that person. And believe you me, this kind of thing doesn't just happen in politics. It's a systemic problem. It's a social problem. It happens all throughout our society. Yeah, Kendra, you're right. It's all about winning with him. ASCA, he does whatever he wants to do. That's right. Lucy, good question. What happens to the Constitution? What Constitution? That's probably the question they would ask. Or what does this have to do with the Constitution? Ron says, and to solidify a position in the White House, evil is good in their eyes. Well stated. Well, very, very, very well stated. Y'all rolling now. I think Dr. Pat is echoing what I just said a minute ago, and I'm going to throw this up on the screen. If it's against the law for anybody, it should be against the law for everybody. She's echoing what I just said. I couldn't agree more. I think that's what's wrong with our society right now. And think about this. This guy who once was the president of the United States. And with the things that he says and does, he has no filter. He allows anything to come out of his mouth. Yes, I did talk about it earlier. According to the word, men rather love darkness rather than light. They love darkness, you know? And man, from the things he says and does, it just seems like he just hangs out in the darkness. He insults people. He makes fun of people who have physical disabilities or speech impediments or who have had certain things to happen to them, tragic things, you know? I don't get how he can be so brutal in his description of Hispanic people and how he always talks about them being criminals who have invaded our country, bringing in crime and drugs and all of that. Well, okay. Um, it's one thing to think it, but it's another thing to say it. But yet and still, there are so many people that gravitate to him. And I'm sorry, this is the way I feel. This is what I believe. I guess I really don't understand how many Black people seem not to be able to see through the nonsense and the rhetoric. You know, some of the things that he says, I'm not sure it just teeters on the edge of racism, but I will say this: some of the things he says doesn't sit well with me as a Black male. But yet and still, there are some people that praise that man. Nothing he says or does is wrong in their eyes. And I think the thing that baffles me the most is the fact that he's heavily supported by professing Christians, by professing born again believers, by supposedly Holy Ghost filled evangelicals. And a lot of what he says and a lot of what he does is diametrically opposed to the word of God. Now, it's not just him, but those that follow in right behind him, those who endorse the things that he says and does. I like that, Toya. She says here, lack of identity and poor heart posture. Wow. Man, that's an interesting way to put it. That level of support baffles me. It does me as well. Yes, it's it almost leaves you speechless because it is unbelievable, and things are getting worse and worse and worse. And you know what? Here's what I'm afraid of. I truly believe that he's leading a lot of people into a trap, that if he's successful in trapping these people, they're going to find out when it's too late that they've actually been led into a trap. Because I just don't believe, or this is my thinking, that if Donald Trump gets into the White House again, it's not going to be good for us. I'm talking about the entire nation. I believe if he gets into the White House again, eventually he's going to do some things that have some of his biggest supporters regretting them throwing their support behind him. That's right, Kendra. He seems to care about no one but himself. You know, I mean, let's just think about all of the people who's either worked for him or been in his camp who have been coming out and revealing what type of person he really is. They're no longer covering up for him. Ron said his followers are too dumb to know that they're being led astray. Tracy says they will be thrown under the bus with the rest of them. Yep, you're exactly right. Because that brother doesn't mind throwing people under the bus. Being loyal to Donald Trump is going to cost some people. It already has cost some people their livelihood. and to some degree their lives. Because there are some people who are sitting in prison right now because they followed the lead of Donald Trump and this radical Republican Party. And most of them don't have all the people's interests at heart. They only have some of the people's interests at heart. And those of us who are a minority, we are not included in their interests. Wow. I just wanted to come on here and just throw that out. Tara, Kazam, yeah, that's a good point right there. The January 6th foolishness. Well, they literally, he encouraged them more or less, seemed like, to go up into the Capitol, to breach the security of the Capitol, and do everything to halt the certification of the election. I said to my wife today, I said, it's crazy that our nation, the people in this country, have started to adopt the spirits and the attitudes, taking on the spirits and the attitudes of people in other countries where all of this kind of nonsense takes place. I don't know why we are choosing to embrace this kind of political nonsense. You make a good point, Jackie. If he gets reelected, he will exonerate all the January 6th rioters. He's already said he's going to do that. He's already said he was going to do that. My question is, here we go with the hypocrisy in politics and crooked politicians. He's ready to exonerate the January 6th rioters. He'll pardon them. But, in our state, the state of Missouri in particular, they legalized marijuana in the state, right? And supposedly, once marijuana was legalized in the state of Missouri, they were supposed to release those offenders who were locked up for selling marijuana and things of that nature. They were supposed to go ahead and release them. That's what was said. And I think some people fell for that when they went to the polls to vote to legalize marijuana. Okay. How many people have we heard about getting out of prison, having their sentences commuted because of this new law that legalizes marijuana? Tara Kazam, she says he's only running to try to stay out of jail himself. Wow. The more he encourages them to do wrong, the more it is seen that they love him. Yeah. He has talked so bad about one of the judges on his social media platform that his followers are talking about killing them. That's ridiculous. Those judges are just doing their job. And any kind of threat toward a federal judge or judge at any level ought to be met with instant repercussions. They should be. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. It's bad when there's a different law for certain I guess that was supposed to be groups of people or Greek people. Okay. Lucy, you'll have to clear that one up for me. All right. Uh, hoodwinked. That's right. Hoodwinked. No one has been released. Yeah. Because they don't care anything about us. You mentioned earlier, Bishop Doctor, about the increasing rebellious spirits. Amen. They are prevalent in the earth. Well, I think I'm getting the answer to my question. I'm not the only one who's fed up with the hypocrisy in politics and crooked politicians. And it's not just on a federal level. It's even seen, the hypocrisy and the crookedness is even seen on state and local levels. I don't know what it is about politics and politicians where people deem it necessary to be dishonest, to operate with a lack of integrity, to be inconsistent. I just don't get it. The party of law and order. That's a laugh. That's a laugh. They all need term limits. Get these jokers out. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But then we've got to develop some people, or at least find some people who have some sense. You know, that Republican Party is so confused right now. They don't know what to do. They're never satisfied with even now their own choices with regards to the Speaker of the House. I think the lady's name is Green. Oh my gosh! Every time I see that Republican lady show up on the screen, she makes me cringe. She just called for the removal of the present Speaker of the House, Johnson, whatever his name is. It's ridiculous. And why can't people see the chaos that is so obvious and prevalent in the Republican Party? Now, before some of y'all jump down my throat, before you say anything, is that okay? Marjorie Taylor, okay, that you might be right. Well, whoever she is, y'all know who I'm talking about. Okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay, I got you now. Yeah. There's not just issues with the Republican Party. The Democratic Party got their issues too. You know, I don't want this to sound like a one-sided argument where I'm only jumping on the Republicans, because Democrats have their issues too. There are some Democrats who are just as unstable, just as crooked as the Republicans, because many of them are guilty of saying one thing while they're campaigning and during election time. But when the election is over, when they finally get into office, a lot of things that they promised, the platform that they ran on, none of that stuff gets delivered. Toya says it feels like rather choosing between the lesser of two evils. Well, y'all pray for me, because I don't want to choose any evil. Yeah. Evil is evil. And I don't want to endorse any evil, regardless of their party affiliation. That's just me. Now, am I suggesting that there was a time when the political process was perfect? Of course not. It's never been perfect. But it seems like when Donald Trump got into office, things changed or turned drastically for the worse. People began to once again blatantly show their prejudice, their racism. And that's bad. Some people say, well, I'd rather know right out front. Well, you know what? If that's the way you roll, then fine. But now, yeah, they just throw it up in your face. And it's more like, what you gonna do about it? It's terrible. It's terrible. And really, like I said before, right from the very start, I'm so fed up. I am so very fed up with all of this political hypocrisy and crooked politicians. You know, someone once said that the word politics, there's a message behind the meaning of that word. If you break it down into two words, you got poly, which means many, and ticks, which refers to bloodsuckers. So in politics, there are many bloodsuckers. They don't care where they land, and it doesn't matter who they're sucking the blood out of, so long as they get what they want. Well, y'all, my time is far spent. For some of us, we've been going for quite some time tonight. Thank you all once again for joining me for this late night rant. That's all I can label it. It was just a late night rant. And once again, I appreciate you all coming on here with me. If you think or you believe or you feel like this is a worthy discussion to share with other people, don't forget to share it with somebody else. Don't forget to share it. I'll be back tomorrow night and I'll share some more nuggets of wisdom, hopefully tomorrow night. But I just wanted to take tonight to get some things off my chest, because when I see this stuff that's taking place in our government with our politicians now, and let me say this lastly. Here it is. They can't even pass a budget, a law to pass a budget. Y'all know what I'm saying. You know, every few months they're up against another deadline to keep the government rolling. You got all them supposedly grown, supposedly, allegedly intelligent people, and they don't know how to come to a negotiating table and figure out how to pass the law for our budget to be in place for the next however many years, our national budget, whatever. Y'all know what I'm referring to. I may not be using all the right terminology, but y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. You know. But yet and still, they'll take the time to show up in court with a man that has been accused of many crimes. That's it, Terry. National debt ceiling. Thank you. I knew some of y'all. That's it. That's what I was trying to get to. Okay. Well, y'all, this ends my ranting for tonight. I hope you all were okay with it. Thank you for indulging me. Thank you for hanging with me. And again, I'll see you tomorrow night, but at a much earlier time. With that, I'm going to say God bless and good night.